Hey guys, welcome back to another YouTube video. This is actually going to be another NEO video because this came out just literally recently, over like less than an hour ago. Now this is about NEO proposing offering of 1.3 billion convertible senior notes. Now I'm making this video because we saw a little bit of a pullback in after hours. I know towards the end of the day everything started selling off, but this news came out in after hours and NEO started to tank. Now we're going to go over this news, what it means for NEO, and how we can just dive into this. So before we get started, I'd like to remind you that I do have a free Discord server. Link in the description below. It's completely free. We'll be glad to have you here. Now let's explain what these convertible notes are. What do they mean for the stock in the long term? So a convertible note is a form of short-term debt that converts into equity, typically in conjunction with a future financing round. In effect, the investor will be loaning money to a startup, and instead of a return in the form of principal plus interest, the investor will receive equity in the company. So guys, the whole thing with this convertible note is kind of like a share offering, but it's very, very different with a share offering. But the whole goal for both of them is to raise capital. Now, the reason why this isn't a bearish thing like a share offering is because they're not adding more shares. The investor does get paid in shares, but it's from outstanding already existing shares. That's why it's not bearish. So the deal is for 650 million due by 2026, and another one that's 650 million due by 2027. And if you read this article right here, it goes on to say that investors can start cashing on these starting 2024. So whatever investor purchases this, they can purchase it now and then cash in by 2024. Now the whole point of this, like I said, is to raise capital for NEO, and also these notes gain interest over time. So they're making money over time based off of the interest, and instead of getting paid out on cash, like selling a stock where you get paid out, they get paid in stock. So the important thing is this, that these investors, they're getting paid in equity from the company. So they're going to be holding shares. Now, like I said, this isn't bearish because they're not adding shares to the float. If they did, then that was bearish. That's why we saw that huge share offering back a couple weeks ago last month where they added shares to the float. That's why we saw the bearish reaction. This isn't bearish at all because they're not adding more shares. They're gaining money from investors, and they're going to pay them back eventually with shares that are already in the float. That's why it's not bearish, guys. So now that we got that out of the way, I'd also like to bring in this picture to show you. So here's another way to explain it. It says big investors lend NEO 1.3 billion by purchasing NEO bonds with long-term maturity 2026, 2027. They believe in NEO's long-term potential, so they are willing to lend NEO a lot of cash on a long term. Institutional investors are now considering NEO is not a risky investment and long-term, so they are lending money. Lower long-term risk perception means that a lot of investors are going to jump in. Lower risk rate equals higher net present value. Great thing, not dilution, only borrowing. Guys, so like I said, this isn't a bearish news because they aren't adding more shares. They're not diluting the float. They're getting money from investors who are giving them the money. And then those investors will be paid back over time in shares from the company. So this is amazing for NEO. They're just raising capital to either help with their technology, help with corporate fees, whatever it may be. They're doing this to raise money through a different way from a share offering. Now I know it tanked in after hours, so we're going to look at this from a technical standpoint now since we got the news out of the way. So I mentioned this earlier in my NEO video I posted earlier. I said, hey, I don't want it getting below this level right here at 63.43. If it does, we're probably bearish. And what happened? We got below it. We closed right at it, acted as a resistance, and then we fell in after hours. Now, I do think this may be an overreaction from this news, so hopefully NEO is green tomorrow. But if it's not, we can plan, we can adjust. That's what we do as trader investors. We adjust when the stock presents itself. Now, notice that it did hit lows of 59.27, 59.36, and guess where that was? Right at a support, an intraday support. So it bounced up, found buyers, but ultimately, we still need to get above 63.40. We need to get above that to be bullish tomorrow. If not, then I'm looking for a dip by either right here at $58 or right here at $57. Those are my two levels I'm looking at. So a lot of people have been asking me, hey, if NEO dips, where do you think it's heading? Right now, it's kind of in that awkward middle part where it's not at support, intraday support, and it's not at the next support. It's in the middle. So if I was trading this, I wouldn't get in it yet. I'd let it play out. Either let it fall to this range right here at $59, or wait for it to pull back at $57. Either way, I just wanted to make this quick video to show you, explain this news, because a lot of people were confused about it. They didn't know what this meant. I hope this helps clear up the area where, hey, this isn't bearish news at all. Yes, we saw a bearish reaction, but this may have been an overreaction. Either way though, if we do continue to sell off, we still have some levels we're looking at. We have the top of this candle right here. That's going to act as a support. So $59. If we fall tomorrow, expect us to hold this area. If it doesn't, because stocks always don't have to repeat their patterns, then I would assume $57 would hold, just because that was a previous all-time high. But either way, guys, be smart with your trade. I know a lot of y'all messaged me saying, hey Will, I took your advice, I locked in my profits from NEO. I'm glad I got out and I'm looking to re-enter. Congratulations. Glad you had an amazing day with NEO. Glad you locked in some profits, and then now we're just waiting. We're waiting for another entry. You gotta be patient, guys. There's no need for you to just go ahead and jump right back into it because you just got out. Be patient. Wait for that dip, because it will come, and we'll have to see what tomorrow brings us. Anyways, if you did like this video, I appreciate all of the support. Go ahead and subscribe, and also join my free Discord server. Anyways, I will see you all in the next video.